go. Welcome to another episode of the History Hyenas. Chris Stefano, Yanni Pappas, with us, Colin Quinn.
The great Colin Quinn.
Happy Thanksgiving, cuz.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving, guys. By the way, let me start by saying, since Giannis was asking before, are we talking about Thanksgiving? Chris, last week, he's like, well, what are we talking about? I go, I don't know. He goes, well, our producer said, you want to talk about Greek history? I go, great, we'll talk about Greek history. He goes, then he calls me a day later, wait a minute, let's talk about something else. I go, all right, what about music history of music? By the way, so I do a little research because I was like, I don't want to go there and not know certain historical. He's like, all right, great. Then he texted me last night, hey, we forgot it's the Thanksgiving show. We're doing Thanksgiving. I was like, fine. Make me waste my time learning about music history.
But why? But meanwhile, you have a big book.
I have a book. You didn't even take that into consideration.
I mean, I was up all night fucking listening to it. We got here. He's like, let's talk about Valentine's Day.
I'm Chrissy Chaos.
He's Chrissy. Yeah, too much going on. He burns a candle at six ends.
Yeah. Guess what? The piano was invented in 1700s.
There you go. There's your history hyena fact today.
First of all, how crazy is that?
That is crazy.
Didn't you think it was like 1200?
I thought, because then what about Mozart? What was he playing?
Mozart came right at the beginning of the piano.
Wow.
Really? Wow. So
he was in the, yeah.
So that goes to show you, like, where you're born is a lot of things. Like that movie, the book, The Outliers, with Malcolm Gladwell. Even they said the Rockefellers, if they were born 10 years after or 10 years before, they'd miss the oil strike. If Mozart was born 10 years before, 10 years after, he would have missed the piano.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Or 10 years before.
10,000 hours. He put in 10,000 hours by the time. Yeah, that ruins Malcolm Gladwell's theory. Mozart was playing concertos when he was 2. You think he put in 10,000 hours? He's probably not even born alive at 10,000 hours.
Exactly. I know.
Some people, he was like one of those. Some people are such rare geniuses.
That they break them out.
Colin Quinn,
rare
genius.
Colin Quinn, like Mozart. Yeah, he was like 10 years old. He would read the music. Like there were stories about Jackie Gleason. He would go into the Honeymooners. He would read the script once, and then he would say famously, "All right, every man for himself." And then he would perform after the rest of the cast had been rehearsing, memorizing. He read it once, memorized the whole thing, and then.
But that doesn't sound like a genius. He sounds like he was a drunken bastard because he didn't. He said every man for himself.
Yeah.
I mean, these people are actors. He's Jackie Gleason already.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'm going to riff. Keep up with me or you're out.
Yeah, but he knew the script. I mean, that was back then where you had to nail the lines because it was expensive to shoot.
And it was live.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
he was just a Brooklyn Irish.
Yes.
He had appetites.
Bushwick.
Yeah.
He's like Chris. He's from Bushwick.
Yeah, he's from Bushwick.
And he had appetites.
He had appetites like Chris.
Just let me interject with something. September 1620, small ship called the Mayflower left Plymouth, England, carrying 102 passengers and an assortment of religious separatists seeking a new home from where they could freely practice their faith and other individuals lured by promise of prosperity and land ownership in the new world.
Let me just add that, and it was a bad thing. We wish it didn't happen. It led to bad things. It was an infringement, encroachment on cultures, and we're retroactively putting those ships on notice. On notice. That whole.
I know the
remove that section from your history book. Remove it.
We're putting it on notice. I love it. On notice is the greatest thing.
Yeah, how about this?
So you guys put everything on notice.
Do the on notice sketch. Some fucking freeloader that we hired to do the beginning of my special, Size 38 Waist, starts tweeting what dumb motherfuckers me and Giannis are because he's pro AOC or whatever it is. I want to tell that guy whose also name is Colin, go fuck yourself.
What? His name's Colin?
His name's Colin. It's disrespectful to you.
Yeah. You're on notice, Colin.
You're on notice from Colin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, because of your book, are you going to start?
By the way, what's the name of the book?
Saying your name with the middle initial, or because you're an author now?
Yes. C.E. Quinn. The name of the book is overstated. It's about the 50 states.
Oh, I thought it was about Thanksgiving.
Well, it technically is, but it is funny. But here's what bothers me. Let me just say, when people talk about Thanksgiving and everyone's like, the way Americans have been taught that Thanksgiving, that this is like these manifests. It's like in my day, they would teach us, no, it was evil, the Puritans. People are acting like they teach you in school anything but negative stuff since 1965.
Right.
They don't.
Right.
They don't. People act like this imaginary world of the 50s has existed this whole time. It has not in a few select school districts.
So what you're basically saying is the Russians infiltrated our school system even earlier than we thought.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
they were teaching that anti-American propaganda way back.
Yeah, it's like I love how people are this new
Isn't
thing.
it? Go ahead.
Thanksgiving, white people and Columbus, all that. It's like the disease, smallpox killed more fucking people than anybody.
Smallpox.
It wasn't white people, it was smallpox. It was another thing the Chinese created in their lab.
No, I listened to the book. I listened to the book last night.
It's a fantastic book, by the way. Go get the book. Where can they get it right now? Amazon?
Amazon.
Go get the book.
And you're one of my favorite comedians of all time. One of the things I would say that when you see you live is sometimes you gotta really listen. Like sometimes you'll muddle like your Brooklyn accent will just hold down some of the verbiage.
Sure.
But I mean, this was a smooth. Like, did you do that in one take, or was the guy sitting behind the booth like, Colin, can you get the fucking water out of your mouth?
I've had several reviews that were angry at my overpronunciation because I sat there and the other book I did, I was reading it, but it comes off very like sharp because while I was reading it, this is obviously I have mental issues. I was like, they changed some of it. So the whole time I'm reading, I'm like, wait till I get these assholes on the phone. They changed what I'm reading right now. I thought they censored my book. This is the first book I wrote.
So you were reading it thinking that at the same time?
Just thinking like, this isn't, and I went home and I looked, it was the same. But this book,
we're all
I
out of
went
our
in,
mind, yeah.
It was during the pandemic, and I had to go to 44th and 9th.
Were you reading through a mask?
No.
Oh.
But then I went in the studio but everybody's like, you have to be careful. This is when everybody's paranoid. And I just said, I have to read every word correctly because it's such a pain in the ass to read a book.
Right.
So I was trying to not sound as annoyed as I felt when I was reading it.
Right.
1789, George Washington and the Continental Congress issued the first Thanksgiving proclamation.
No, the first one was Abraham Lincoln.
According to Binky stats, during the American Revolution, Continental Congress designated one or more days of Thanksgiving a year, and in 1789, George Washington issued the first Thanksgiving proclamation.
Let me tell you something.
By the national government.
That's Lavin read that off. He read that off like a placemat at the Whitestone Diner.
How about this? Speaking of your book, what's the name and title again?
Overstated?
Overstated. Speaking of that, Pinky, if you just go up in 1817, the state of New York, which your chapter about the state of New York in Overstated was fantastic.
A quiet state with a big mouth.
Quiet state with a big mouth. That's what I was just going to say. That's the line of the book. A quiet state with a big mouth. I love it. New York in 1817 became the first of several states to officially adopt an annual Thanksgiving holiday. So New York, #1 again.
I'll tell you the truth. A quiet state with a big mouth, I don't think that's even in there, but I like that a lot better than anything I put in there.
I know it was in there.
Was
you
in
sure?
There. Yeah. I heard it because I was going to text you. This is the line of the book.
Good.
I think it was the first thing you said about New York.
That's a good line.
Colin's much like me. Giannis calls me a dog. He says like I'm always in the moment and I forget. Colin's like that too.
Yeah, because
he's in the moment and he's going and he
you
says
guys
something
are
great and he goes
you guys
back.
are like potato monkeys. You're fucking Irish kids who like to black out and bury emotions.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
and hate like he
but I'll
probably.
tell you-
It's a brilliant book. He probably wrote it while he was fucking whipping himself at the same time. It's just not good. It's
Oh,
not
God,
good. It's
yeah.
not good.
Yeah, in quarantine, Collins wrote a book, wrote a movie, done an HBO special, and then he's like, I'm not doing shit.
Yeah, I'm not
They're like,
doing
what are you
fucking-
talking about?
Yeah.
because I'll tell you why, speaking of Irish, I've been trying to read Finnegan's Wake.
Okay.
Now, that's a great James Joyce, the hardest book to read in history, apparently. And they're not kidding. So I've been reading it, and I can't understand one page I'm reading. So I keep reading it, and I don't understand one page. Really? And then I bought a book by Joseph Campbell that is called The Skeleton Key to Finnegan's Wake. So I'm reading the book about how to understand Finnegan's Wake, and I don't even understand that book. So it's very hard.
Yeah.
What's so hard about Finnegan's Wake? Just like the verbiage he uses and
The
stuff?
verbiage and the allusions, and then everything's a digression to some obscure, Italian 17th century like semi-Titian. It's just too much for me.
It's ridiculous.
Now, at Irish funerals, is it true at the wakes that they stand the guy up in the bar and, hey, he drinks with you one last night, or is that just something in the wire that they...
That's what they used to do. I remember all my
funny.
relatives talking about how they used to do that in the 40s and 30s.
That's
They
amazing.
would stand them up and bring them in and the
Drink
whole
with
thing.
them,
By
yeah.
the time we were growing up, no.
How are you going to get through Governor Cuomo's Thanksgiving this year? You can only have 10 people in the house. How are the Irish going to get through that?
Well, Jen doesn't even want to go have a Thanksgiving.
Now he's got a wife. Now the great Jen,
so we're just
beautiful
going to be
wife.
sitting there, and that's going to be the end of it. It's
I
just,
was just thinking like that, so you go there, the guy's dead, he's standing up. Irish kids start drinking. When Irish kids start drinking, they start getting a little ragamuffin.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck are you looking at?
Yeah.
Guy's just staring at him dead. He just punches the corpse.
Yeah.
Well, by
We
the
have
way,
a family vendetta, you fucker.
by the way, Finnegan's Wake is the title is based on a song about a guy and a fight at a wake where he stands up and they think he's alive again. Oh no, he is alive. They thought he was dead.
Fucking book's too hard.
You know what I like to do sometimes? I like to, like, if I'm in a K-hole, internet K-hole at night, I'll watch the Irish family fight vendetta videos. Do you ever watch
gypsies.
those?
What's that?
I mean, the bare knuckle fight when a family.
Of course.
You call them traveler videos.
The travelers.
You've never watched one? It's
Maybe I have.
It's just like wrestling videos. Like they come on and they're like, the McHenrys.
Yeah.
And then
the
they'll pause.
Joyces,
Yeah.
the Quinn McDonough, and they're like, listen, I'll tell you this, Joe. You fucking told me you were going to be in Lavin, and you never fucking showed up. And I fucking waited 2 days. Oh, yeah. Oh, they're fucking travelers are crazy.
Yeah, like some little slight, and of course they got to solve it with a bare knuckle fight.
I got to be honest with you, being an Irish, German, Italian, who knows,
Whatever you
fucking
want to
kid
be, yeah.
from the Brooklyn,
Whatever you're
Queens
lying and
area,
telling people
and
you
I
are
know
now.
I know Colin feels the same way. I don't even know if I could celebrate Christmas because they have canceled the Thanksgiving Day parade. So if I don't see Santa tailing at the end of that Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, I don't know if we can even do Christmas.
That's a good point.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, this is crazy. I can't
Fucking
believe
nuts.
they could have the parade. Those, what are you afraid of getting COVID from those fucking?
For the floats.
Yeah.
I mean, Hyenas says the only reason Cuomo's even sticking around right now is because he can make a fucking good sauce. If he couldn't make a sauce, he'd be done.
That's the thing. Me and Chris talked about that. Like, if you have like a fight with an Italian friend, like if you have a fight with like an Irish or German friend, there's no way for them to ever really win you back, really. But if you have a fight with an Italian friend, then he invites you over Sunday, and the sauce is just right. You have a change of heart. You know,
It is true.
It's
They
easy
really
to forgive. Yeah.
People think it's like a cliche, but they really, when the sauce is right. And the other thing is that Christmas Eve sauce they used to have with the fried 7 fishes. That
Yeah, 7
shit
fishes.
was unbelievable. Their mothers would make it, not them. But
Yeah.
I remember my friends and just going, how the hell is this? This is unbelievable.
Let me ask you
Still
this.
the best memories.
When you were writing this book, what was your favorite state to write about?
My favorite states.
Your favorite state and the one that you learned the most about while you're
Thanksgiving.
writing about it.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. If you want a quick Thanksgiving fact, then I'd like to give you the one where the traditional narrative paints a deceptively sunny portrait of relations between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people. The Wampanoag
the
people.
Pequot Wars, right?
Masking the long and bloody history of conflict between Native Americans and European settlers that resulted in the deaths of tens of thousands.
Because the Narragansetts. I'll tell you what my favorite state. It was not a state. It was just the mentality. Now, this is going to sound pilgrim to people, but it's just the mentality of people going to different parts of the country when they're like each section, starting with, Massachusetts, but then each section going, okay, now we all know you're going to have to half of you are going to die. If you get injured, there's no doctors, there's no medicine. You're going to go, you can get this land, but the insanity of family. You're going there with your wife and your kids and your uncles and aunts. And you might die. There's nothing but what you make of it past this fucking. There's no hospital. There's no shelter. There's no food except what you fucking make of it.
Do you think that also speaks to how horrible the Catholic Church might have been, that people would do that to get away from it?
No, but they weren't even Irish. They were fucking Germans.
The
half of them.
Germans, yeah.
Well,
You know
they
what I
came
mean?
over on the Mayflower, you mean?
But
I'm saying-
they were fleeing some religious persecution.
They weren't
right?
fleeing Catholicism. They were fleeing
the
Protestants.
you were Puritans. Yeah, they weren't.
Puritans.
That was the Church of England.
Yeah.
They fucked up Catholicism.
King Henry VIII's Church of England.
Yeah, they're the ones that he went against Catholicism.
Yeah.
That was their first mistake.
You got killed for that.
That's the second original sin.
Right.
Yeah, going against, making your own church. Fuck
Making
you,
your own
England.
churches because you wouldn't want to get divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was all King Henry VIII's little plan.
I like
Yeah.
when you talked about the Carolinas, South Carolina.
Yeah.
How it's like they're Anglo, they still have that Anglophile. They love bow ties. When you go there, you feel like
Yeah.
you're getting a manners lesson.
Those
you
are
use
those
the right
weird,
words.
right?
But then it's also they party. It's a college town too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one.
And then
big-
also you captured which is kind of a modern phenomenon a lot, is like those states are really southern, but then the cities have become like these liberal oases.
right, like Charleston and Austin, Texas, where some of us have gone. Do Austin, Texas? You ever go to Austin, Texas? They're the most liberal place in the world. They're the most they were original hipsters. but down south in
Yeah.
the middle of Texas, red state, and they're just like they're the kid that the family at Thanksgiving to bring it back. They're like, oh yeah, he's gonna try to bring up Trump, but they indulge the kid.
Right.
Austin.
Right.
Yeah. I love Virginia too. When it was named after the Queen, who was the Virgin Queen.
Yeah.
And they named it Virginia, and you're like, can anybody fuck this queen?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be.
You called her ugly, which was.
Well,
I think I got
just-
to put you on notice for that.
Well, then you see those movies; they give her like a receding hairline.
Yeah.
and,
Well, we
I
did
point
an
to my
episode
own.
on Queen Elizabeth, and it said that she could have been a guy or that she was a lesbo.
Yeah, but either way, it's what I'm pointing out is that if that was a guy who was ugly, a lot of women would have been like, "Fuck that!" Like Hugh Hefner, I'll fucking take one for the team.
Yeah.
If that's the king, I'm gonna fuck him. And
Right.
she's your queen. No guy's gonna fuck her.
No, it doesn't matter. You got to, unfortunately, the male brain is you still have to be hot. It doesn't matter how much power you have, how rich you are. If you're not hot, we don't care.
I think she did it.
Sucks.
Actually, she was such a she was such a good ruler. One of the you could argue maybe the most successful
Ruler.
dictator of all time. Her reign, how long, how
She
successful.
wasn't a dictator, though.
She was kind of a dictator.
No, she was peace, Queen Elizabeth.
I mean, you could
thought,
call
right?
it a monarchy, but it's a dictatorship.
It's a
Really.
dictatorship.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But she I think she was like her thing was like I'm married to England. She knew
Right.
she knew how to play on that religious thing. Like and then she was because they were all like the Queen Mary, Queen Mary, she's a virgin, she kind of did it as an image the way the pharaohs do. I speak to God. She was alluding to it. She was a good marketer. Very
Right, good
very
brand.
Schultz-like. Yeah.
Her brand was like, I'm a virgin.
Yeah.
I don't have time for these, material bullshit.
Behind
It's
closed doors, she might have got fucking banged out. Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm just looking at the maps of the United States. It's crazy how many states in totality vote red,
Yeah.
but yet the Democrats win. It's just crazy.
Sure.
Like, most people are red. It's just their states don't carry the electoral votes to win.
It's just
But there's
all-
one strange thing, which is each one of these states has different red and blue. This is not a pattern. Every one of them is different. Look.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every map is a little different. But even if you look at the presidential map now of even with the whatever recounts, whatever, it looks mostly red. When you look at the map, it
Oh,
looks
yeah.
all
Well,
red.
all the big empty states are red. That's why more people vote in, electoral college.
Yeah.
But I mean, all those empty states.
Let me ask, I'm curious what your opinion is. Why do you think the high population density places vote blue and then the country votes red? Why is that? It's a clear pattern.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been happening forever, right?
Yeah.
And it's also, well, I mean, I feel like it's mostly everybody's dissatisfied. So whatever we're doing is not working out well. But I mean, I would say because when you're out there in those farm places, you're your own boss. You're your own doctor. Right. So you believe that anytime the government is bad, they're there to take, not to give, and you don't want anything from them because you're like independent minded. You know what I mean? So you're just like, no, you stake your claim, and then you're your own government. You're your own lawyer. You're your own everything. It's all about you and your acres. And
Right.
in the city, we're more like, no, you go there and then the government takes care of it.
So it kind of makes sense in a way because what you're basically saying is when you're in the city, you can see right there that you need the government more to control such a dense population. I always thought about like gun control. Like I'd be like, now that I live in the country, I'm like, first of all, I bought a gun.
Right.
Right. So like, I understand why people have guns because like I live in the country. So if someone breaks in my house, I call the cops. It takes them an hour to get there.
Exactly.
But if and I can understand, I can understand why those people are pro-gun, and I can understand the city. They're going like, hey, we can't all have guns because fucking Rush Hour might end like a Quentin Tarantino movie if somebody fucking tries to sit in my seat.
That's right.
It's
That's
true.
exactly right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Nobody wants to take context into consideration
No, of
anymore
course not, yeah.
to find compromise.
Yeah.
Everyone's become a zealot.
Yeah.
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 Everyone's a fucking zealot.
Nobody can talk.
No.
People, when did disagreeing become a bad thing? Don't people know disagreeing? Who's the person you always wanted to fuck the most?
The person
The person you disagree with. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the best hand job I ever got was a girl who went to St. Saviour's. It was in Prospect Park on a rock. And we had different philosophies and religions, and I enjoyed every moment of it.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, my sister went to St. Saviour's. She's older.
True story, by the way. First hand job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catholic girl from
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, you guys got the family connection. Fucking, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we do. We have
Yeah.
Very strange.
A very strange, small fucking world. But yo, when you okay, so you've done so many, one man shows. about history. You know, now you got of course, the book about history. Is there ever like a thing like in history that like you begin to write about or think about and you're like, fuck it, there's nothing here, and then you just quit on it?
Well, not yet, but I mean, I'm sure there are, but I just can't think of it offhand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the kind of question where, you know, you really have to tell somebody that the day before so they can think about it. You can't spring it on me and expect my fucking brain. We just got through. Giannis just said we forget shit immediately. And then he's bringing that kind of
I'm sorry.
a thing. I'm in the middle of a process. No. Let's have in the middle of a process. And then I'm like, oh yeah, fuck that.
Well, you
it
guys
takes
are
a few
fucking,
days to think about that.
You guys are fucking talking about things. I'm trying to read the notes of Thanksgiving and I'm waiting for the pizza.
Yeah, fuck the notes. We didn't fucking bring Colin Quinn down here to read Wikipedia to him.
Listen,
That was the podcast, right?
the first Thanksgiving was deceptive. I like that people are like, oh, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's like, we know, motherfucker. We understand.
Right.
Either you're going to talk about it or not. Either you're going to say, okay, that was then.
Yeah.
We get it. Now, people celebrate Thanksgiving. You have to sit there like, you know, basic sackcloth and ashes.
I'm at a point right now where, you know, I got my own family, might be buying a house on Staten Island, which is what people look like police officers do.
Which is also the reason that on Thanksgiving why he's wearing the orange socks.
Yeah, orange socks for Thanksgiving. It's festive.
That is a Staten Island Thanksgiving
So
outfit.
now it's that thing where I'm getting to the point now where I got my girl saying, hey, it's time for us to make our own traditions. And my mother saying, you better always come to this fucking house for Thanksgiving.
Right.
So I'm at that point where Thanksgiving could be like this beginning of the Civil War in my family where my mother always has it at her house, but new family wants to start new traditions. What do I do?
But my brother is from, his wife is from
Brooklyn?
Trinidad.
Oh, Trinidad.
So it's island people. It's quite simple. You come to our Thanksgiving, and then at 7 o'clock, they drive out to fucking Freeport, and they start a late night Thanksgiving. That's going to be with the Puerto Ricans, the same thing.
Yeah. Oh,
they
yeah.
don't start Thanksgiving until 9 at night.
Yeah, it's true. Fucking good point. Yeah.
Me and my brother don't talk anymore because we don't get along. And
He punched his brother in the stomach.
Well, but
2 years ago.
He smacked me in the back of the head first.
Yeah, but his brother's 65 years old. He fucking
And you punch him in the stomach?
I punched him in the stomach.
in front of his
Well, I
father.
don't know why you had to smack him in the back
Yeah,
of the
he
head.
smacked me in the back of the head. So
Back of the head hurts,
It
and
does
it's really
hurt, and it's demeaning.
it brings
Above
up
the
a
neck is-
lot of things. Yeah,
It brings up
Yeah.
issues, yeah. But I realize one thing that's great about it is it makes the holidays a lot easier. Not talking to your family. It's just all my wife's family now. I just go, hey, that's what we're doing. Yeah, it makes things easier.
Yeah, and
makes
it's nice.
sense.
That's a nice Trump Thanksgiving.
Because you bought a house in Staten Island.
That's what it is.
And your haircut wants to thank you because your haircut's been in Staten Island for a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
I made that joke in the Patreon, but it was too good of a joke to have behind a paywall.
Yeah, it's fucking deserves to be there. Yeah, I mean, and I love how I even told my dad, I'm like, I bought a house in Staten Island, it's a good price. He's like, well, you're not factoring in the cost of the Verrazano. That's how they get you.
He's
he
good.
keeps telling he's
That's a
like,
good fucking
how many
point.
times are you gonna cross the Verrazano? You got to add a few thousand a year.
The fucking balls on Staten Island
Yeah.
to charge people to. I mean, you should be paying people to come to Staten
And
Island.
they've been like that since. I remember when the Verrazano we were like, what the fuck, $4, whatever it was.
Yeah.
We were like $4.
Yeah.
They've been like that for years. The balls.
My father has sold his house on Staten Island, been living in Florida for 3 years.
Yeah.
Still has not told the government or anybody or changed his mailing address because he still wants his address to be on Staten Island so he gets a discount in case he goes over the Verrazano. Because Staten Island residents get $10 off the bridge.
Because the city doesn't even get that. That money goes straight to the bananas.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Or the Cuomos.
Yeah.
Whoa,
criminals.
Are you
the
gonna
new
be-
crime family.
Are you
Yeah.
living close to Victoria Gotti? How
No,
close
that's
to Victoria
the
Gotti?
South Shore.
Yeah.
I'm living not too far from the bridge, but the house hasn't come through yet because like any classic Staten Island house, they've illegally put additions on the house and now went through the city to file the permits.
Yeah.
So now it's fucking, I got to deal with, I had to get a Greek fucking dirtbag lawyer to fucking smuggle his way in there
Yeah.
and make it all work.
Yeah. And you got the Greek Nicole, what's her name? Is it Borough,
No, Malatakis.
Yeah,
He knocked
Malatakis.
out Max Rose, who
Yeah.
was that fucking Democrat.
I'm sure I saw
He's out.
I saw Giannis. He had a little kid's book in Greek in there. A little.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Venetia, our other producer, got me that for my baby.
Yeah, and then
Nice.
one of our fans got him his daughter's toy, which is face down on the floor
it's face
under
on the floor
Mike's
right there.
shoe right now, which is great. Yeah.
Colin, why is Louisiana? I didn't know it was such a shady state.
Oh my God.
So they got
yeah.
they have their own laws, like.
Because it's Napoleonic law, so they don't even use our system of law. They use Napoleonic law. And the shady states, Louisiana, Delaware, Rhode Island. All these states, they're like, yeah, we're part of the country. We'll do our own thing. They are the ultimate in shady. But Louisiana, you go there and it's just everybody's got a little bag everybody's got shit buried in the backyard. There's like a cash register. They got something under the. It's just.
But it's all legal in those states.
Well, I don't know if it's legal, but it's sort of their culture.
Even Rhode Island, their name, I didn't even know that the technical actual name of Rhode Island is the Rhode Island State of something and Plantations. They have Plantations.
That's right.
In their name, that they're just legally changing it now. But no, I didn't even know that their actually technical name is not.
Oh, yeah. It's like Lady Antebellum. What?
Yeah.
Oh, they changed the name for. I thought you meant they were changing for politically correct purposes.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't Plantation in their name.
Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah.
you can't. Yeah, Plantation. If it's in your name, Plantation,
It's
that's
bad
something
news.
you got to change at this point. Yeah,
I think the Dixie Chicks overthought that one.
they did
Yeah.
they did overthink that one. Yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean,
you
that's-
can't just be the chicks.
Yeah, that's just bowing down to this political bullshit pressure, which
Yeah.
in reality, the people who are the most woke and mad are such few numbers. They just have the loudest voices, but they really, if you just don't do what they say and you just keep going, nothing changes. Nothing changes because they're small. It's a small group.
Yeah, I
Sure.
think actually people are realizing it, and like 'cause it's like you can
enough
see
now.
people are changing. People are going like, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah, like it's.
But you know what I got from reading your book? Really, like it's a funny book, obviously, because you wrote it. But what it made me realize, we really are not the united people of America. We are the United States of America.
Yeah.
Every state is kind of like its own thing. I
Yeah.
didn't know that about Delaware. That it was so shady. That corporations, everyone sets up their corporation
Write-off,
because there's
yeah.
no taxes.
and lo and behold, where's our president from?
Fucking Delaware.
Delaware.
I fucking knew it. Fucking Hillary. Lock her up. Lock her up.
But it is true when you think about Delaware that he is from like Delaware. That's just an agreement everybody's made that somebody's going to be their corrupt state, and they're like, "We'll do it. Fuck you."
Yeah.
It's like this hypocritical thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we going to break up? Is there going to be a civil war? Is there a way to keep this together? Should we separate? I mean, fucking.
He says
we
in his
want
specials
Portland
we
gone.
should.
Yeah, we want Portland gone.
We want Portland out of
so
there.
Oregon,
Portland,
China
Oregon?
can have Oregon. Yeah.
China can have Oregon, and they can start
Yeah.
the confagacy.
Yeah.
Why are we done with Portland?
Well, if they want to set fucking precincts on fire and protest
Oh,
the
yeah.
street,
Yeah.
then let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We're
I mean,
saying let them go.
But I'm assuming what you guys that goes against what you just said. It's a small percentage. Most people in Portland probably hate those motherfuckers.
No, I know. I'll be in Portland in May. ChristyComedy.com.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's true.
No, it's true. Yeah.
It's the news focuses on it so much that if you're not there, you think the whole city's on fire.
This was the same thing that happened in the 60s where they sort of idolize and worship because it's young and they're afraid of not being hip. So they idolize and worship like this just small extremist bullshit.
Right.
It's impractical. It's a luxury to live in a country where you even allow people to pretend
To
that this could
disagree.
exist
Yeah.
as a society.
No, 100%.
It can't. You need a stable society to even pull this kind of bullshit.
No, you're right. All the big protests that have happened throughout the summer here, it's been 2 to 3 blocks. The chop zone in Seattle was 2 blocks.
Yeah.
In Seattle, didn't take over Seattle. I agree. Most people didn't care, but I still do think that civil war, some type of big time riptide, through our country. is coming.
Or, as Colin says in his book, if you get a common enemy,
Right.
People need a common enemy. So do you think this is the time that if there aren't aliens, we just lie and make
Yes.
them up?
Yes.
We
That's
start
what I've
doing
been
some,
saying.
Absolutely.
It's time for some green screen action.
Yeah.
Like fucking, here's an alien.
I mean,
The same green screen they used to go to the moon. Let's bring out the aliens.
you have the green screen right
Right
there.
here. This is where they went to the moon, right in the studio.
Perfect example. Athens and Sparta. They were at war all the time.
Yeah.
Then they
Pizza's here.
fucking
Fuck
laughing.
yeah.
you don't have you can call what their real name is, Muzzies.
Yeah.
I thought it was Levin's phone.
They thought there was Pim's phone in the background, but it's the pizza. Shout out No-No's Pizza.
Is there anything more fucking Brooklyn trash right now that we're doing a podcast in my old apartment and we just ordered pizza and it's 2 kids from Park Slope and one from fucking Ridgewood, Queens.
Yeah, by the
who
way.
lies and says he's from Bushwick.
Yeah, and fucking No-No's Pizza, $24 for a Sicilian relax.
Yeah.
For a Sicilian pie.
And here's what I've always wanted to know about Whitestone. Where'd you go to high school? Where the fuck did people in Whitestone go to high school?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. You all cops are firemen.
Where?
Holy Cross High School.
Holy Cross in Flushing.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Arch rival, Archbishop Malloy, arch rival, Holy Cross.
Where-
And there's Greeks in Whitestone. There's a community of Greeks. Yeah. The
Go
Greeks in
Greeks.
Whitestone. A lot of Greeks in Whitestone.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a church there. Wherever there's a church, the Greeks just, and they
Whitestone's
don't
a
leave. The Greeks don't leave.
No.
They do not like
They
the
do
Greeks
not.
in Bay Ridge in that like 6-block radius.
They don't leave.
They just
Fucking
stay there.
Steinway
Whitestone-
Street.
What are the chances the name Whitestone makes it to 2025? That's going to have to change.
Yeah.
You can't have the name Whitestone.
No. Unnoticed stone.
Unnoticed stone.
Change it to Onyx.
Because you've been betting?
Of course. Look, gambling's now legal countrywide.
Right.
If you're going to do it the easy way. Go with the most reliable. You go to MyBookie. You're probably at MyBookie already because that's the way you gamble.
Yeah.
MyBookie.
MyBookie.
Here's the deal, though. This is how you gamble as one of our fans.
First of all, you go to MyBookie and you put in the promo code Hyenas. Hyenas. The promo code Hyenas. And guess what? You are going to get a halfway match on your deposit. So if you put in $200, they're going to spot you another 100 to play with. I mean, cuz it's halfway. They're going to spot you halfway.
They matching what you put in. You go to mybookie.com, promo code Hyenas, gamble away.
Seriously, please use the promo code. Go to MyBookie. I mean, whether you like to gamble or don't like to gamble, I mean, what other site's going to give you half of the money you put up to $200? So if you put in 200, they'll give you 100. I mean, it's unbelievable. You put in 100, they'll give you 50. I mean, because you do. I'm not good at math, but that's right math, right?
Yes, and yeah, if you're a Hyenas fan, there's no other way to do it. Put in the promo code Hyenas, and they take care of you that way. Because look, we're a couple of guys that come see you, and we don't see you in a different way. We take care of you.
We take care of you, and it's anything you want. UFC, presidential prop bets, any major sport, whatever you want, babe. They got you. MyBookie's got you covered. MyBookie.com, promo code Hyenas. Do it.
Do it. It's Thanksgiving. Go bet on those games, y'all.
Yes. All right, as always, we're brought to you by Tim Dillon's Belly Hair. I mean, this kid, he auctioned the tier and he won the tier. He's got a fantastic charity, truly fantastic. Giannis and I and everyone at the Hyenas have donated our money towards it because it goes to a great cause. It's a charity in Ghana, Africa that rescues children from child slavery and gives them a safe place to heal, grow up with an education. The website to donate is touchalifekids.org. That's touchalifekids.org. Brought to you by Tim Dillon's Belly Hair. I went above and beyond, by the way. I got a fucking pie. I got croquettes. I think I might have gotten rollatini. I got a 2-liter bottle of Diet Coke because I know Colin likes Coke. I got 3 big waters, and I think I got fucking garlic nuts.
What a chisel. He gets the liter bottles of Diet Coke and a few cans.
Yeah.
There's no fucking ice cube in
I
that
got a
freezer.
2-liter bottle, and I got a salad. Sorry, Dad.
And let's guess what else. Did he tell you about the time during the beginning of the call, he sent a bunch of pizzas to Methodist Hospital, and the guy was pissed at him because he got it from Smiler's Pizza.
Yeah.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Really?
Yeah, Lukash.
He wanted it from Pinos instead of
Yeah, no,
Smiles?
No,
Lukash.
he wanted him from Fifth Avenue somewhere.
No, he might have wanted peanuts. No, Lukash, I sent him to the hospital, and he says,
He sends a bunch of pizzas.
first care,
How many?
First line workers. I said 2 pies,
And they complained. You should have said, fuck
and he
you.
goes, thanks so much for the pies. He goes, I thought it would have been Smiling, and there would have been a few more, but thank you.
Well, I have to say,
Oh,
honestly,
you didn't order from Smiling.
I did. No, that's what I sent him.
So he didn't like
He
Smiling?
wanted Pinos.
He wanted Pinos.
I'll be honest with you. When he first told the story, he misrepresented it, and it seemed like it was like 7 pies.
Colin,
My memory's not that bad. No way you said it was 2 pies, because I would have said that was cheap to begin with.
Maybe I
2
don't
pies for a
remember any
fucking
pies.
hospital
Maybe I
staff.
sent him 5 pies.
Colin, I don't know how long you've known Chris. I've known him a long time. I know him in depth. Whatever he says, there's a 63% chance it's not true. That's why he's so likable. He makes half of the shit up.
What it is.
That's why you can't remember it because
he
some
was-
of it's lies.
He wants to please people so much. He's likable. He's like, what do you want me to say? All right. It was 10.
Chrissy the Chameleon.
Yeah.
It was 10 pies.
The bottom line is, how about let Lukash, once you see this episode, tell us how many pies it was.
You're such a chameleon. You stand against that green screen, you fucking blend right in.
You know what's funny?
I mean, we got to eat this pizza.
in Park
I
Slope,
know.
it was really Smiley's. Smiley's and Pinos were the two. That was
Yes.
the Coke and Pepsi of pizza in Park Slope.
Yes,
Yeah.
in Park Slope.
By the way,
And then Roma was like the RC Cola.
by the way, I just said No-No's Pizza. I ordered from Vesuvio's. I'm sorry, No-No's.
Yeah.
Vesuvio's, shout out. Shout out Badass Academy.
Now, Colin, when you got into show business, you're on TV, had your own shows, you've written movies, all
Yes.
that. Did you ever think it would bring you all the way back to Bay Ridge?
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's, like I said, my aunt's wake at Lavin, the funeral home on 4th Avenue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The Lavin family.
Yeah.
Before they moved to Whitestone, they opened a funeral parlor.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time here because my family, we moved to Park Slope. The rest of my family grew up in Bay Ridge, so all my cousins and everybody's. My cousin was on Ridge Boulevard. My cousins were on Bay Ridge Parkway on 72nd Street. I have a million Bay Ridge stories from my time spent here.
This is what
we got to hear some Colin Quinn Bay Ridge
you guys
stories.
got a Bay Ridge story.
Yeah.
Or should I have told you yesterday? I should have asked you yesterday.
Yeah, you
I
should
have
have
a
fucking
bunch.
prepared him a little bit.
Well, I'll give you a Thanksgiving one, then we'll go eat pizza. I guess.
Tie it all
There you
in.
go.
That's the problem with pizza. If it's cold, if it's dead.
we could tell the story. We'll pause the podcast and come right back on.
Oh, I love it.
All right,
Yeah.
what's the
High
Bay Ridge
tech.
story?
Well, one Bay Ridge story, which was that one Thanksgiving we go to my grandmother's house on 72nd, 5th, and 6th, and I absconded some pills. I was like 16, so I absconded some pills from somewhere. I took them from somebody's medicine cabinet. That was a big 70s move. And I took them, and I went into convulsions in the middle of Thanksgiving, and they had to rush me to the hospital. Fucking Maimonides, which you bet it's like you're safe for just going right to a funeral parlor.
Yeah.
And
That's right. I know. Maimonides, where my daughter was born, they had me cut the umbilical cord.
and they had to pump my stomach on Thanksgiving. I didn't even eat. The ultimate thing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's fucking.
By the way,
take it-
Thanksgiving is one of the most biggest car accidents, domestic abuse, heart attacks because of the food. It's the most. I think it's probably. I bet if we looked it up, it's the most dangerous.
I don't like
Lavin's gonna
Thanksgiving.
look it up.
Turkey's dry. I don't like it. Cranberry sauce is gross. You know it's not a great food if you have it just on Thanksgiving.
And it's the name of your
stuffing's
mortal
okay.
enemy, turkey.
Stuffing's okay.
Yeah, stuffing bugs.
Turkey
me.
without the gravy's too dry.
Yeah, and fucking
Yeah,
my
you're
house.
right.
Yeah.
My fucking girl's a vegan, so
And
I mean,
also,
good
what
luck.
we did to the Indians, I don't want to celebrate that.
No.
7 reasons
No.
why Thanksgiving is the most dangerous holiday. Let's see if any of CQ's
Is it
car
dangerous?
accidents 1, heart attacks 2.
Oh, look at number 3, ODing on pills that you stole from your friend's
grandmother's
apartment.
fires, food poisoning,
Food poisoning.
dog bites,
What?
trips and falls, and food allergies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, that's also dangerous.
But is it the most dangerous holiday?
I would say that maybe New Year's Eve might be the only other one.
Yeah.
4th of July is the most
Oh,
dangerous.
4th of July is gonna be the worst. Yeah.
I think it depends, right? I mean, I think
Yeah.
it depends.
I mean, you
depends
know.
on where you are and what you celebrate. Like,
Right.
Well,
what's the most, if you
Easter-
ask Palestinians, what's the maybe Ramadan if you live in certain areas.
I mean,
in
they're
Israel.
not eating,
Yeah.
they're fasting, they're getting behind the
Yeah.
wheel, low blood sugar.
Yeah. It's
Well,
tough.
Easter was another one since back when I was a kid, and my mother just still used to love to tell the story when she was alive. Of I made her buy me when I was like 7 because there were so many black kids as our neighborhood was so mixed, and I made her buy me a purple suit for Thanksgiving because I saw all the black kids wore like purple clothes and green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd be walking around in a purple suit on Thanksgiving. I mean on Easter.
Yeah.
An Easter outfit.
Was
Yeah.
that there was a kid on your block who had a mud floor,
Oh yes,
which I can't believe.
yes. No, the whole family.
They didn't have
Wait,
floors.
what?
There
Yeah.
were 12 of them,
Yeah.
12 to 14 kids on our corner.
Irish?
No,
No.
black. And they had dirt floors. And we would say, hey, go home and water your floor. That would lead to fights, of course. You know.
Why
But
would they have dirt floors?
Poor.
They were so poor, and they were from Virginia or South Carolina. And we went up to their house one time. I mean, the building now, God knows, is what the bottom. They lived in the basement, downstairs floor. It was dirt floors.
They didn't put the floor in.
Holy shit.
Maybe
no
they
floor.
were they were poor, so they were maybe watering their crops in their living room to eat in the house. You
They
know?
probably could have,
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dirt
Interesting.
floor.
Yeah. Is that where
Interesting.
dirt poor comes from?
Dirt floor, dirt poor, dirt floor.
Dirt poor.
Dirt floor. All right, you want to pause and eat this pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
When you see us again, we'll have bloated necks.
Yeah.
You guys can cut this part if you want. I'd like to start by pointing
be good.
out that the fucking squares was a bomb. The Sicilian was a bomb. I'm the only.
You went with it.
I went with it because I was like, you know what? I haven't had Sicilian in years. Because anytime anyone goes Sicilian, my response has always been my whole life probably fuck Sicilian. Since I was little, I went through a phase where I liked it, but I was like 11. The Pinots, that was it.
Pino's had great Sicilian.
Pinots are great Sicilian. But now I realized why I was correct. Sicilian is it's like deep dish without any dip. It's all bread, a little bit, all cheese. There was no fucking sauce.
For me, it's an
It
upside
was
down.
shit.
Upside down slices with the way you got to go. It's got to go all sauce. Yeah. That's why I said, Grandma, fucking, why do we listen to Hyenas the Greek tell us what pizza's about?
I mean, you guys are pushovers. You're Irish kids. I mean, if I told you to come sit in my car, you would come and I'd touch your dicks.
Yeah,
and you'd let me do it. And
Shout
then
out Polly Prep.
And then your parents would still send your kids to the same school.
Shout out my mother.
Polly Prep. I was just telling my brother Bishop Ford. There's many incidences, but he was a great looking kid, and he was frisky enough where they would, try to step in. My brother was not having it. He was not playing games.
Oh, look, I love how your PR, our Pam, just in the things we have to read, just take shots at me. Please have the little boys plug Colin's new HBO Max
The little
special.
boy, is she your publicist?
Colin Quinn and Friends, a parking lot comedy show, which is great on HBO Max right now. I fucking bombed. And then she said it was shot at a repurposed drive-in theater in Brooklyn in September. It premieres on November 12th, which already happened. Part stand-up show, part documentary. Then she says Colin directs and headlines the hour that features a lineup of New York City live comedy staples, parentheses, including Chris D.
That's a shot at the end.
Yeah, she took a shot at me.
I feel like the little boy was more.
Little boy was worse.
Well, that kind of makes me feel nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know her? That sounds like
Pam, she used to be my PR lady.
Yeah. He
love
fired
Pam.
her.
Shout
yeah.
out Pam.
Shout out Pam. And then he fired her.
Oh,
Edit that part out.
you're like,
Colin.
You're like Chip Chipperson.
Are you ever going to
kidding.
direct? Are you ever going to? Do you have any?
I'd like to move it to. Here's my dream. Ready? So if I could do whatever I want to do right now, it would be mostly all Brooklyn, New York type stuff.
Yeah.
Movie, TV, and the only stand-up specials I would do. I'll be done with stand-up. I'd like to retire from stand-up. Then let's say you wanted to do a stand-up special.
Yeah.
I would say, okay, we do it, but we have to do it, at the 9th Street Y.
Uh-huh.
Because, or you want to do a stand-up special. Okay, we do it at Malloy.
You want to make it? You want to go New York? You just want to?
I want people to do special. No, but even if I did it outside New York, because somebody
Something that's to them. You mean
to them,
Yeah.
Yes.
so that they can go. Or you would do it. Let's say we do a Greek amphitheater. Something.
No, we do the 9th Street Y. That's where I grew up playing basketball. I worked the community house above there.
Perfect.
Fucking 9th Street Y.
And also get a Greek thing to it too, because I want people to go, oh yeah, what is it about Greece? Since it is a fascinating
we
thing.
come out and eat
really-
slaughter a goat and
in
fuck
that
his
case,
cousin.
Not in
It's
every
actually
case.
really brilliant. So you're giving it more texture, giving it more.
Yeah.
So when they're watching your act,
It's
they're
me.
going, yeah, and they're saying they have context on you.
And there's a lot to that too. Even now, I mean, I don't know if it's Corona or whatever, just being home. I don't want to travel anymore. Like, I want to make my living from New York. I don't even want to think about going to, whatever state to go a Thursday to Sunday. I don't want to do that in my life anymore.
Absolutely, but that demeans and degrades my great autistic idea. That you make it into just not wanting to travel.
Not wanting to do weekends.
It just fucking. You just took. We were actually feeling the emotion. Like, yeah, it is. Stand up, taking it to, and you go, yeah, I'm sick of traveling. Why? Why would you say that?
How about this Chris's special? If you're going to direct it, I'll give you a little help. How about this? We open on Ridgewood Savings Bank, right?
Yes.
Joe and John's Pizza,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
We follow it right down. We see Aunt Eileen. She's carrying a shopping cart. She's got Entenmann cakes in there.
Yep.
So you know it's a party. Huh?
Myrtle Avenue.
Myrtle Avenue. Right down
Okay.
Myrtle. We see his aunt and his mom walking. They're coming from the diner. Entenmann cakes.
Yeah.
Stacked high in the shopping cart means company's coming over. Also, a couple of cans of Senka means a special's about to happen.
Yeah.
Then we take all the food in to the house he grew up in, which the top floor was his mother's, the bottom was his aunt's. We see his Puerto Rican under there. He's burning somebody with a car cigarette lighter. Yeah. Based on truth. Drinking Heinekens.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, fucking pan back. Chrissy comes down the stairs in footsie pajamas to the middle step of the neutral staircase between his aunt and his mom's house.
Right.
Boom. Light hits. The crowd in the neighborhood gathers on the bottom floor, which is his aunt's house, and he performs a special from the 6th stair on the neutrals called From the Neutrals.
What do you think?
What do you think? Why is it neutrals? Because his mom was upstairs, aunt was downstairs. Who owns the suitcase? It's the United Nations. The staircase,
the staircase?
the staircase is neutral territory.
Yeah, I like it.
You like that?
Directed by Colin Quinn.
Ridgewood. I was telling Bobby Kelly about this the other day, which was Ridgewood. When I met Chris Walken, my family used to go. Sometimes if they didn't go to Lesky's or any of these great bakeries, someone would come in from Queens from Walken's Bakery, it's a famous bakery, German bakery in Ridgewood. And I met Chris Walken, And I go, my family, I know, you probably heard this, but I was in L.A. in 1989. And I go, I just want to tell you, my family, we used to go to your bakery. It's the best bakery. And he goes, yeah. I go, your family's bakery is legendary. He goes, that was a long time ago. I turned away.
I didn't know Walken's Bakery was in Ridgewood.
Oh, yeah.
Really? Was he from Ridgewood?
Yeah.
He's wow. I want to be the best Christopher to ever come out of Ridgewood.
Wait, Chris Walken is from Ridgewood.
He's
from Ridgewood?
Yes.
Fuck.
Wow.
He's a German.
Walken. Chris Walken.
Chris Walken.
Chris Walken.
Yes.
Now, the 1930s, the Nazis sold out Madison Square Garden. A lot of those kids who probably bought tickets from Ridgewood.
Yeah. A lot
local
of
bakery, Rudy's Bakery, catered
they said,
it.
But no, they said the Walken Bakery was. No. I want to get back at him with this fucking snub of me.
Yeah,
The
Adolf Hitler was like the Lindsay Todd from Fox.
Yes, you must. I love the King of New York. It's a underrated movie. That son of a bitch.
That's hilarious.
Your last special, Going Out, directed by Colin Quinn,
Yeah.
Park Slope backdrop. Are you going to do it
Yes.
at a handball court, pull out, PS321?
Yes.
It was something like that?
Yeah, I would love that.
Bodega, walking out
last
of it,
one,
carrying
yeah.
a blue ball.
Just that right behind 321, they got that open space there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, that other aluminum building wasn't even there, so it was a really big schoolyard.
Right. The thing looks like a...
Yeah, terrible. It's still there.
Kind of looks like a Dachau bunk.
Right. It looks like one of those, like when they put the Japanese in the internment camps.
Yeah, it doesn't look great. Yeah.
No.
What building? The school?
On the side, there's they built it looks like a temporary ad hoc building that they just kept. It's like metal walls, and it's on the side of the schoolyard. And
PS321. That's the one on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah,
by
I used to
Tina?
sit on that and finger. My wife watched this, but I was a kid. This was before you. But we'd sit on that high wall. We'd play baseball against that wall. And on top of the wall, you sit there, and, it was the first time I finger popped somebody in Daisy Dukes.
Yeah, that's what it
Nice.
is.
Yeah.
You ran over to Pino's and were like, smell my fingers.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. Fumes and no fumes.
Yeah.
Well, we went Pino's one time when I was probably like 9, me and my friends, and the mob guys used to collect off everybody in 7th Avenue. I mean, they fucking, they collected. That was it.
That was when Pino owned Pinos.
And Pino owned Pino's.
Yeah.
Pino and his brothers.
Yeah.
Pino's Pizzeria on 7th Avenue in Brooklyn, New York.
The
if
best.
You guys want to
Which
go.
is Pino-
Where it used to be where Grand Canyon is, then they moved one store over.
And Pino was the greatest guy, and his brothers, one was great and one had a bad attitude. And so the mob guys kept in, and we even knew at that age, like we sensed these are the mob guy. And one of Pino's brothers paying him, but he's screaming at them in Italian the whole time. We're like, this guy's got balls. And they're like, and he starts screaming at them the whole time while he's fucking paying them, like yelling at them, like, fuck you, I'll pay you, but don't fucking. You never see that in the movies.
Yeah.
Where the store owner's like, fuck you, here's your money, you cocksuckers.
How about this? We did a thing. We did an episode about the New York Mafia, history of the mafia on Netflix. There was a show like the New York Mafia.
Right, I know
that show was on. And there's this guy John A-Light on the show.
Right,
John
right.
Gotti's like henchman. He's like
Sure, the guy from like Richmond Hill.
from Richmond Hill. Yeah, Albanian guy. Yeah, this guy John A-Light.
Woodhaven.
Yeah, and so we did a thing where he says in the show, and Giannis brought up the show. It's so funny where he's like, look, if I come at you, he's like, listen, I go to guys and I give them the money. If they don't give me the money, then unfortunately I got to come at them in a different way.
Yeah, he goes-
And we
Right.
started laughing. We were like, yo, we come at you in a different way.
And that became like a catchphrase on our podcast because, back then what we do, I go see a guy if he owed me money, he gave me the money. If I went to see the guy and he didn't give me the money, then the next time I go see him, I come see him in a different way.
Come see it in a different way. But the problem is he heard the podcast.
And he's going to come be a guest in a different way
He
on
wants
our
us
podcast.
to go to where he is to go to the podcast. And, we're like, and we can't figure out if he likes us or fucking we're done.
Oh, he wants you guys to go?
Yeah, he's like, I'm doing a podcast too. I heard you guys like to make fun of some of my sayings. So now we're like, fuck. Can we bring you along? And just in case there's trouble, you can fucking talk him down. You can bring the hawk.
I saw the. It's funny because I saw Sammy the Bull,
Sure.
and I was doing Rogan, so talking about Sammy the Bull coming on, and then we just talked about Sammy the Bull and Michael Francesi and all those guys, and then he's like, well, he's watching. It's a podcast of him watching that conversation, and he goes, at some point he goes, yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, see if we could be on the Joe Rogan podcast. See if we can get on there. He says to whoever he's talking to off camera, and then you see him suddenly he goes, what am I doing? He goes, In fact, see if he can come on our podcast.
It's funny that mob guys got podcasts
They
now.
got podcasts like that. Yeah.
It's funny that everyone's asking us about podcasts.
Yeah.
We went over yesterday to set up a podcast for Chaz Palminteri. He's starting a podcast.
Yeah,
Oh,
Chaz
he is,
Burton,
yeah.
It's going to be good. It's
Yeah.
going to be a good podcast, but we're setting it up. And I guess Binky Mike's going to be the producer.
Yeah, because you just keep fucking
nice.
loaning them out.
Keep loading Mike out.
But you got to lie and tell him how much, you know what I mean? You can't
Oh, no,
tell
yeah.
him what you honestly get paid here. You want to,
Well, the good thing about Chaz is whatever we pay, Chaz will give you in all cash. We'll never have to claim any of it.
Yeah.
You'll just be off the books.
same with John Elite. He wants all cash.
Yeah,
all cash.
Oh,
Yeah, John
God,
Ayla, yeah.
Italian kids love fucking lettuce.
Oh,
They
yeah.
love pulling it
Love
out.
lettuce.
They love holding it. They
A
love
nuts.
handing it over.
Yes.
Yeah. They fucking love it. You know, it's funny. My granddad, one of his diners was in Red Hook down at the docks, and Albert Anastasia's brother used to control those docks.
Yes.
So my dad used to work at the diner, and he said it was interesting the way people judge. It made me think about the way people judge history, especially the way kids are doing it now. They go back and they judge morally. My dad was coming at it from the perspective that, look, back then, things didn't come quick. Cops didn't come quick.
Right.
You know, it was like, it wasn't seen as like extortion, even
Right.
though that's what it was.
That's right.
It played a function. Like,
That's right.
it was protection. Nobody fucked with your diner.
That's right.
Because they knew it was Albert Anastasia's.
Yeah.
And I'm sure just like the market sometimes provides, the mob knew how to push, but not too far. So they
Right.
charged you enough. So they wanted you to be able to afford it and whatever. But
Yeah.
they did provide a service. I'm not trying to defend the mob.
No.
Even though in your book, I think at one
I
point
am.
you go like,
The
even though
mob-
I just did defend.
We
at
were
one point
safe
you
for fucking city.
At one point you were talking about incest in the Appalachians of
Oh,
Kentucky.
yes.
And he goes, I'm not trying to defend incest, although I just
Yeah.
did.
Yes.
I'll tell you what,
Incest has
De Blasio would not be able to be getting away with what he's getting away with in destroying this city if the mob was still here.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
I'm just saying there's some
Edit
pros.
that part out, Mike.
There's
I was
some
just
pros.
kidding.
It's not like they didn't serve some function, you know?
Didn't get a laugh.
No,
so
you're
edit
right.
it
No,
out.
I know what you're saying. Well, they always say that corruption always had it. The one thing about in the old days, when corruption was there, you could get things done. So now everything's above board. Everything has to be transparent, but nothing moves.
Right.
So that's why nothing ever happens.
Right.
You know,
Right,
nothing.
it's true. It's a good point.
I was in Mexico a few years ago, and I was going from the airport, and I go to the cabbie. I go, "Do the cops the cops stop you and they make you pay money?" And he goes, "No, you can't." He goes, "They won't take money anymore. I don't know what I'm supposed to." Like he was saying, I can't do what I need to do because you can't pay off the cops.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's two sides to it.
Like he was upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's true, though, man. It's true. I mean, greasing somebody used to be, that's how you got into any nightclub, anything like that. Now it's like, it's a fucking federal crime. You can't do that.
Yeah.
What can you do?
What made you write this book about all the states, besides the big money that they got? You had pretty nice upfront money.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Up front. What did I get up front?
Did you get any upfront cash for it?
Yeah, but not that much. All
right.
I think at the other end, I'm going to get, if it makes money. But I mean,
Well, our fans go buy the book. It's amazing. You can listen to it. I listened to it on Audibles. It was the first book I've listened to.
Oh,
ever.
nice.
Yeah, it was the first book I ever read. Yeah, you broke my
Say
cherry.
what?
Yeah.
Now where you're living, you're going to be all about books on tape.
Yes, it's nice. Yeah, you just put it on when
Well,
you
you
drive.
listened to the whole book
I
in
listened
one
to the
drive?
whole fucking book last night. I came and saw that fucking book in a different
different
way. I opened my ears. I got to stay up for my baby anyway. I listened to it. I heard Colin's voice all the, he go, Virginia. And then we go and then we're in it. Yeah, fucking, yeah.
All I want is you guys to just record the directions when you go out to his podcast. Down Woodhaven, make a left. There's going to be a guy there.
Yeah, so guys, what you going to do here? All right, so my studio's in my mother's house.
Well, he knows,
It's in the basement.
He knows the whole fucking, that's his neighborhood.
Yeah.
Howard Beach. Oh, sorry.
It's so hard to get to Ridgewood. You got to take the streets. There's no exit off the thing.
The Jackie Robinson's the closest highway,
Yeah.
but it's fucking. The Jackie Robinson is one of those highways that goes nowhere. You just like in a it doesn't.
We
do
used to
anything.
call it the Interborough when I visit my cousins in Queens.
In that cemetery, you got fucking Harry Houdini's buried in that cemetery. You got fucking Bob Shepard, the voice of the Yankees, buried in that cemetery.
And Colleen from fucking 86th Street down
86th
there.
Street. She used
And
to own
every
fucking
ma-
TD's Tavern on 68th Place.
Yeah, and the McFlanagan family's over there as well. Yeah.
I love. There's a big house in Ridgewood, and it says like Sligo. Like one of the counties in Ireland, Sligo. and it was always just there, like a big Sligo sign, and it would say like whatever, however many miles away, and like all these other Irish towns this way. And then now I drove past it. I visited my mother recently. I drove past it. The sign is there still up with a huge Trump 2020 flag right over it. And then you fucking draped it right over it.
So which state do you think from the book encapsulates America the most? You mentioned Florida as a contender.
Yeah, I mean, Florida's our, our shadow self, I would say, Pennsylvania, because it's got the Philly type cities and the Pittsburgh type cities.
So it's East Coast and Midwest.
Yeah. And it's got like the urban, it's like Trump and, I would say it's a compilation of everything. Basketball and football and all those little side cities, everything like Scranton and then Easton. Like it's all the success and failure of America.
And also, you made the history. They still got fucking Amish and Mennonites in there.
Amish and
Those
Mennonites.
guys like the original settlers still.
The Constitution.
The Dutch are in there.
Yeah, Constitution.
Philadelphia should be. Pennsylvania should be a lot more interesting than it is.
Do you think if the founding fathers, came back and saw Philadelphia, they would go, "We shouldn't have done this"?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what happened here?
George Washington gets a battery to
Just
the wig.
take them straight to an Eagles game and see. Look at what freedom gave.
Eagles.
I've spent a lot of time in Philadelphia and in my life just doing my shows like for weeks at a time, and it's like New York in the 70s. That's the only way to describe it.
Yeah.
Everybody's dressed like New York in the 70s. They act like it. People fight. It's the only place you see hipsters street fighting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Ben
It's
Franklin.
crazy. You have to fight in Philadelphia. If you're not willing to be in a fight in Philadelphia, you can't survive there.
Yeah. I used to say Philadelphia is block to block.
Yeah.
You'll be walking on one block and you're like, this is the nicest block I've ever seen. You turn right and then you're on the worst block.
Yes, that's right.
Most cities have like bad sections.
Right.
They're like, the good blocks and bad blocks are just like all together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or Benjamin Franklin, Declaration of Independence, just those majestic, beautiful words. And he's like, can I get a wooder?
Can you get a wooder?
Yeah. So, I mean, well, look. So
Pennsylvania's America then.
Pennsylvania. I love, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that book too. I mean, Illinois was funny too. How you talk about just how all they do is want to eat meat and they fucking everything, carving knives, swinging at everybody. It's true. I mean, there's just a fucking cardiovascular. The Midwest is just. I mean, the heart attacks are rampant.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said in the book that you feel like where people grow up, like geography creates culture, creates personality. Like the Appalachian kids, maybe they like basketball so much in Kentucky because they're skinny or whatever.
Right, because they're those
They're in
long,
the mountains.
with those
they're
big
looking
Adam's
down
apple.
like people like ants and stuff like that.
And it's too hilly, so they can't play football. There's no level fields in Kentucky.
Did you write the book in quarantine, or were you writing it before?
Whoa! I wrote it. I wrote a quarter of it outside of quarantine, the rest in quarantine, because then I was in. I had no excuse not to write it.
You're like fucking Isaac Newton, came up with the laws of physics in quarantine, and you come up with this book.
He did?
Yes.
When did it plague?
Isaac Newton came up with the law of relativity, I think, in quarantine.
I thought an apple hit him on the head.
Pimp, Mike Lavin, you're the guy. Figure it out.
I was in quarantine. He was sitting under a tree. He was outdoors.
Write during quarantine? Say, what did Isaac Newton write during quarantine?
And then put in a picture of an apple in there.
No, don't do the apple because that'll fucking.
Yeah, that'll be.
So Isaac Newton what did he say? While in quarantine during the bubonic plague in the 1660s, besides getting hit on the head by apples and inventing calculus, it turns out Newton spent a lot of time in isolation playing with prisms. All right, I was off.
What goes up must come down. But here's what's interesting, too, that a friend of mine, I didn't even come up, of course, the best things in your act is you have one thing in your act that's great, people come up and you didn't write it, and you do an hour, and then they go, that was the most brilliant line. You're like, what? And then they name the one thing that somebody gave you, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the book. Same thing with the book. See, everybody kept saying, Minnesota, we love that observation. I go, yeah, that my friend had. Because he married a girl from Minnesota. And he grew up in Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
He married, he goes out there, he goes, the weird thing is, he told me this years ago, he goes, we're sitting there, and you get together for Sunday dinner. The women are cooking upstairs. The men go into the den. Game's not on yet. He goes, you can't just sit and talk and have a beer. Because there's something about it, it's against the grain. He goes, you have to fix something. You have to be fixing something. So whoever's house you're at says, yeah, I'm having trouble with this, and then it's a little, and everyone goes, oh, let me see it. And they start fixing it. And he goes, even if something's not broken, and he goes, and the host doesn't know what, like one time, he didn't know he was supposed to say something like that, because he goes, well, guy will go, what's your TV back here? What's this? This is why it's supposed to be out like that? And they all start doing it. Like that's
interesting.
Isn't that interesting? That's Minnesota.
And what's
interesting?
It's because they just don't like it's. They don't talk. They feel like
and
without
also
the
because,
game on, they got nothing to say.
But it's also the Puritan work ethic, the work ethic, not Puritan,
Right.
that Scandinavian work ethic where they're like, no, you're supposed to be working all the time.
Right.
That's industrious.
Right.
You don't waste time talking. You have to work and talk.
Is that why you ever notice when New Yorkers talk, we move? Try to next time you talk to a New Yorker, someone who's born and bred here, see if they are stand still. I've always noticed you talk to New Yorkers, they're swaying,
right.
they're leaning against a wall,
You're right.
they're adjusting themselves.
Absolutely right.
You ever
You
fucking have a conversation with him? It looks like he's standing listening to the national anthem before a basketball game, about to rip off his warm-ups. He's swaying back and forth.
Colin's always got his legs crossed, standing up,
and he's always fucking
like that.
His hand motions are always coming at you like fucking that.
Yeah. You make it.
Colin's hand motions look like he's flicking cum on you. He just fucking. You ever notice that when he's performing?
How about flicking a cigarette? I used to sit there and flick all day.
You said, too, in the book that America's identity is tied to cars. What did you mean?
Oh, jeez. It's another hard question. You have to prepare me for these ones.
Well, you fucking wrote the book.
I don't remember every fucking line
I'm starting
of
to
it.
question whether it was your book.
Who fucking wrote this thing? Who's your ghostwriter?
You told us to fucking read it. We're asking you questions. You go like, wait, boys, you shouldn't be asking me questions from the book.
You guys got to regret something when you write your books and you're like, somebody brings up the chapters and you're like, oh shit, I can't remember what I wrote. I can't remember any of it. It's not like comedy where you have to memorize it. You know, you write it and you're like, hey, editor, put that in.
How about America's a bad marriage?
America.
Tell us why.
No, I like the car thing. Well, I mean, because we invented cars, right? I mean, or England technically, but I mean, we're the ones that. But then everything's got to be like moving forward. Like our country was so great. Once it stopped moving forward, then suddenly we're stuck with ourselves.
Right.
Like every time we have big problems in this country, there's more land. Just fucking move people out west. And then the Pacific Ocean fucked us as a country. We should have gone north to Canada and south to Mexico and conquered them. And then we wouldn't have these fucking problems.
Right.
This should be our continent.
Keep pushing new frontiers.
But it's part of it, yeah. The compulsive. Maybe that's why. It's a good connection. My friend used to have a joke in his act. Fran Solomon. He doesn't do comedy anymore, but one of his jokes was like, yeah, he goes, being married, he goes, people, you don't understand. He goes, when I would fight with my girlfriend, I'd be like, fuck you, and just walk out the door. And he goes, fuck you, and just leave. He goes, now it's like this, fuck you. And that's how America is now, you know?
Yeah. Just yell, fuck you. Yeah. No, I
He
mean,
goes, there's no place to go. We just look at each other. There's no place to go.
You know what I was thinking? It's like, you know how Venezuelans flee here, Cubans flee here.
Yes.
Immigrants flee here. And Californian people now are fleeing to Texas. That to me was like a bad sign because usually we were the country that people fled from socialist or communist dictators. Yeah. And now you're seeing people in America have that same sort of angst, like I got to flee.
Yeah.
And like they're going to Texas.
It's like there's a murder in the house and you're just running to different rooms.
Yeah. They're
instead of leaving the house.
Instead of leaving the house, they're running to another room. There's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go.
Because if it happens here, we're fucked.
We're fucked.
There's nowhere to go.
That's a good point.
Well, you also said America's in a bad marriage, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the things I remember from the book.
Pro or anti the Electoral College? What's your opinion? Should we lose it, scrap it, or should we continue to let Republicans win elections?
But people talk about the Electoral College. I mean, you know, first of all, it's not like all the votes go. It's not like, you know, Montana has the same amount of electoral votes as fucking New York. They're acting like this. I mean, it really wasn't a bit. By the way, Connecticut's responsible for that bullshit anyway.
Right,
Let them take the fall. But I mean, people acting like that happened, like as if they get the same. That proportionally is probably pretty close. So I don't know what the big conflict is with that, because ultimately it's a representative democracy. It's a republic, right? So it's not. If it's total, if you want a total, I always say, if you want a full democracy, real pure democracy is mob rule. That's what democracy.
That's what it is. And that's why they made it a republic, because they were scared of the mob rule. Yeah.
And if you really wanted, if you didn't have, if you just left it at a popular vote, slavery would probably never have gotten. They wouldn't have got rid of slavery in 1865.
Good point.
I mean, these are the kinds of things that go on. I stole it from a friend of mine, but
It's still a good point, yeah.
he's not a comedian, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can still you don't have to credit him if it's not a comedian.
Yeah.
And he's black, but so
Yeah.
he can say it. But I mean, but it's all these are all good points. Like, so it's like there was a reason representative democracy exists, you know?
Right.
Even though it turns out to be distorted, like everything else becomes distorted, you know.
Right. Yeah, I guess the only argument against it is like you could win the Electoral College but lose the popular vote.
Well,
But
as
people only say that when they lose the election. They
Yeah.
go, "Ah, we
That's like,
fucking,
Hillary and Trump, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Hillary.
no, the Greeks had it down to a science back in those days.
What was it?
Like 800 guys would vote. And everybody else is like, hey,
Yeah,
democracy.
they didn't let everybody vote.
Well, that's what isn't that what we said that Socrates says that's what you have to do?
Well, yeah, I mean, Socrates in the Republic. Socrates never wrote anything down, so people aren't even really sure how much of it
It's Plato.
is just him creating a guy. We know there was a historical guy named Socrates, and he used to wander around and talk to people and
Right.
question everything.
So it couldn't even be his real name. Like,
No, there was a guy, Socrates,
He did get killed.
and he did
By
get
hemlock
killed.
poisoning.
But we don't
But
know how much.
corrupter of the young, like Brother Alphonse.
Yeah,
he was jacked, Socrates.
but we don't know if
Socrates
he
was on
He was
keto.
fat.
He was
No, Socrates was
he was
diesel. I
short,
thought.
fat, but he was a real good warrior. Yeah,
Yeah.
But he was short and stocky and ugly. He was an ugly kid.
But what? Okay, but my question is, though, 800 people or whatever used to vote. Would the people vote for those people?
They had democracy for a little while in Athens, but here's my thing. My personal opinion, when you look back at history, democracy is doomed. It doesn't work. You look at Rome. Rome, probably the most successful example of something that lasted. Most of Rome's reign, the successful part, was a dictatorship, succession of Caesars.
Right.
That's what we're probably at. As you can see, democracy is not really working. If we just get to the point where every 4 years both sides are questioning the legitimacy of the election, maybe it's time a strong man comes in and shuts everybody up. So there are no more arguments at the dinner table.
Yeah, you just can't do it.
You just say, hey, I'm for this guy. It's like, hey, we're all for Putin, and that's it.
Well, that's in, what's his face, Plato too, right? He said it goes through the cycle.
Leads
Democracy.
to tyranny.
Yeah.
The old start to be young. The young don't respect the old. Look at them already. They're calling it boomers. Boomer is a pejorative now.
We got called a boomer.
Yeah, we got called boomers.
We got called boomers.
It's like,
I'm
I'm
36.
sorry, I'm wiser and smarter than you. I
Yeah.
apologize, you fucking young shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they call you a boomer as a pejorative.
If you guys are boomers, I'm dead.
yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. Fucking.
But maybe there's something to that. Maybe you even look at Elizabeth. She was a benign dictator. I
Benign
guess.
dictator.
But
That's
she
what
was
we
a
need, a
dictator.
benign dictator.
But you have to decide what benign means, because some people think one thing's benign is not benign.
Yeah.
I know.
So I don't know. Maybe democracy doesn't work.
Yeah.
Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But fucking want to talk about Ireland too. When you and I went to Ireland. When we
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, when we went there and fucking guess who went up there and was talking shit about your set? Nate Bargatze.
What did Nate Bargatze say?
Bargatze, yeah.
What did fucking Nate Bargatze say about the great Colin Quinn?
Colin was up there, you know, doing well. And then Nate, a joke missed something like that, and Nate was like, I got a note for Colin. I was like, don't give it to him. That's what I said. That's exactly what I said right away.
Did he say note?
Note.
He said he had a note.
Nate said
It's not
he
a
goes-
tag.
he
It would
goes-
be less insulting if he said he had a no for me.
Right.
than the audacity
I'm saying a note.
of the Southern gentleman Bargatze.
Yeah, I love every night. What would happen is we would go with the Dublin Comedy Festival. We'd go.
He's moving tickets though, Bargatze.
He sells tickets.
Moving tickets is not the word. Bargatze's taking. Bargatze did what nobody else was smart enough to do. He took over everything south of the fucking whatever. Yeah.
It's the Dixie line, the Red State Nate.
And
Yeah.
this is before that, but Chris sensed it was on the rise.
It was on the rise.
But it's pretty much all white.
We let him.
He's just a little too slow paced for anyone who's got a little darker complexion than me.
So what?
Yeah. Yeah, when you look at his crowd, you don't know if that's a Nate show or Mumford and Son show. It's the same thing.
Which is still a good thing.
It's a great
Yes,
guy.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Kevin
He's the
Hart's
great.
crowd's all black.
Yeah.
It's fine. The point is that he sensed we should have stopped him in Dublin, like Chamberlain and Hitler.
Yeah.
We should have stopped him in Dublin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have fucking stopped him.
That is a good point. You guys had a chance. You should have killed Nate in Dublin.
We could have done.
You could have stopped this ego. You could have killed him before he became this monster.
Well, we were too busy making fun of Rachel and her boyfriend at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, his poetry book.
And then Colin every night he'd watch my set
We
at
should
the Dublin Comedy Festival.
We should.
Yeah.
That's really funny. He said we should have stopped Nate in
Should have stopped
Dublin.
Nate. And then we'd go to the same diner. I don't remember the name. It was called the Metro Diner. It was in Dublin. And then Colin would order a Diet Coke and some breakfast. He'd buy me breakfast, and then he would just shit on my act for the night before. He'd say, here's all the mistakes you made.
He was trying to build up your confidence.
I was
didn't
trying to
work.
explain to him what to do.
Yeah.
You guys don't understand. I'll tell you what my acting teacher told me years ago. It's this acting lady, Sandra Lee.
Same acting coach as Billy Hayes.
And she goes to me one time, I go, so you think I should study with you? You know, do you think it would be good for? She goes, I think you would be a fool if you didn't take all the knowledge I've accumulated over the course of my life and took it and just used it for yourself. I think you'd be a fool if you didn't do that. And she said it. She wasn't trying to talk me into it. She was like, I'm telling you, you asked my fucking opinion. She looked me right in the eye and said it. And she taught me more, not that I'm some big actor, she taught me more about acting than I've ever learned in that fucking, with just a couple of things. So I say the same thing to you. If I tell you something, it's like the time I told Giannis at Rachel's wedding.
Yeah.
I said, I understand. You
guys
guys
said,
you guys
don't
think
be-
I'm talking
No, you
to hear
said-
myself talk?
No.
I'm talking because I've been
No, we
there.
appreciate it.
No,
I appreciate it.
He basically said to me just like, hey, start being funny. Stop with the not funny.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I said.
No, I'm kidding. You said don't hate the audience. Love the audience.
Yes. Don't let anger be your fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because believe me, I've wasted years frowning. I still frown. It's ingrained in my muscle memory.
But with your writing, you don't let anyone get in there. You don't let any studio give you notes. Like you don't let anyone give you notes. And I think you're probably right.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
they don't.
Yeah.
They can't help. They
No,
can't
yeah,
help.
notes, yeah. And if James
They
Altucher,
want to help, but they can't.
Yeah.
and if James Altucher, if you're watching this episode, pick up the fucking phone, or we're coming to knock at your door. Me, Colin, and a guy you don't want to know named the Hawk.
A man who fucking ran rampant through this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Beating people at will.
Yeah.
Throughout most of the late 70s.
You're going to get beaten into submission. The last words you ever hear, James Altucher, is Bay Ridge always wins. Yeah. All right, cuz.
Would you ever direct a Bay Ridge Boys movie if we made a Bay Ridge
Yes.
Boys movie? We should
Absolutely.
fucking write a script.
Yeah, no, Colin is fucking, and only New York actors. I love it. It's just only, you got to be
Yes.
born and raised in New York. Even if you could do the best New York accent of all time, it doesn't matter.
Well, the
you
problem
have to be a part
is
of you.
you have to. It has to be the cadence, the rhythm. It has to be part of you. I'm not saying there's not people that have pulled it off. People have pulled it off. Some brilliant actors like Gary Oldman in that fucking State of Grace.
State of Grace is the most underrated movie, mob movie. I put it up there with Goodfellas. People told me I'm crazy. I stand behind it.
I think you're crazy, but I do think Gary Oldman in that movie was up
Incredible.
there with Goodfellas.
But you don't think it was a great movie?
No.
You don't think it was a great movie?
No.
You don't think that scene? I thought I could do this.
You know
I
what,
thought I
you-
could do it. It's like an idea. Like you believe in a state of grace, like there's angels, but it was just an idea.
No. I'm doing the remember when Michael Corleone stops at the Sicilian village?
Yeah.
Wait, do you know a girl like that? No. You know a girl like that in this village.
I thought it was a great movie.
Well,
302.
Great
You got-
actors.
Are you good?
I didn't think
John Turturro, Ed Harris.
I'm not saying it was a great cast. I'm just saying that there's things that here's the problem, in my opinion. Not that anybody cares about my opinion of that movie, is that first of all, they kept saying, us Irish guys. It's like, all right. And then second of all, it's like most of the Irish gangster movies, they're Italian. They speak like Italians, only they just have Irish faces and Irish names. That's what bugged me about that movie. And Goodfellas, first of all, the reason Goodfellas is the masterpiece is because every scene, and Goodfellas is also based on an actual one
But
guy.
I could say the same thing about Ray Liotta. I mean, Ray Liotta didn't sound like he was from Queens in that movie
No,
either.
he didn't.
Right.
But I mean, he's from South Jersey. He's from Jersey.
Yeah,
But-
but he was supposed to be from...
I know.
Yeah.
I know. You're right.
Yeah.
You're
Technically.
right. Somehow, but somehow he pulled it off. But you're right.
Yeah.
Technically, you're correct.
Yeah, I
Did you
mean...
take back everything you just said?
Yeah.
No.
Because you know what?
I wouldn't
Scorsese...
even get started. I didn't even get started when he hit me. I was literally had my whole thing. No one's ever said that before, but I couldn't deny the truth of it. So I had my whole thing set up, and he just tapped it with a little hammer, and the glass just shattered. My mosaic got ruined.
I mean,
Ruined, done.
Scorsese to me, if his movie's on, if The Departed's on, if Goodfellas on, I can watch it ad infinitum. But Jack Nicholson in The Departed, it bothers me. When he has no Boston accent, and then when he hits him on certain words, it bothers me.
If I could, and I say this because I love Scorsese too, he's the best. If I could have ended his life right before The Departed, I would have.
You don't like The Departed?
I fucking hate it.
I like The
Departed. It infuriates me.
Why?
There's like 3 good scenes, like you said.
Yeah.
3 great scenes, and the rest of it just gives me a twitch.
And you hated The Irishman too.
The Irishman was
was bad. The Irishman was just a bad movie. They
Irishman's
should have made
abominable.
it. They used CGI. It just looks stupid.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And The Departed stinks.
Departed
and
stinks?
After Goodfellas, he should have just hung it up.
Jesus.
Even Casino annoyed me.
Casino?
Well, here's why.
Casino annoyed me too.
Colin, I say this with love. Fuck you.
I'm using your Ray Liotta thing against you now.
Yeah.
Ready? Casino, Joe Pesci goes out of his way to learn that annoying Chicago accent.
Yeah.
Does it perfectly. And De Niro's like, well, anyway, fuck that.
Right.
Hey, learn the accent or fucking gracefully step away from the project.
Right. Yeah. Also, I spoke to people from Kansas City, and they told me that that's not how they sound in Kansas City.
No, he sounds like a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're gonna
I'm saying Joe Pesci's accent.
Oh, no, but he was doing Chicago.
Oh, he was coming from Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. His
Oh, yeah,
so
no.
I didn't even know that. I thought it was Kansas City.
No.
The bosses were in Kansas City.
The boss was in Kansas City. But a couple of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just, But again, here's all I'm going to say about Goodfellas. Goodfellas does everything that they say every movie is supposed to do. It's about it follows the guy's life. As it follows his life, it also follows the history of the country at that time, the world. So you're following his life and the history of the world. Like each scene is about his personal life, and it's also the state of the nation in 1956, 1959, 1963, as the time goes past, as it gets deeper in. And at the beginning, it's inevitable what's going to happen. Because he even goes, we got to watch you. You may fold under questioning, Henry. Like all those little foreshadows of what's going to happen in the fucking future. And I just thought that, and every scene was great. Like State of Grace, Departed, they have some good scenes. But they're choppy all over the place.
But are you punishing Scorsese a little bit for making such a, Departed is a perfect movie. It's maybe a perfect movie. So are you punishing the other ones because you're comparing them to The Departed? That would be like me comparing
Goodfellas is a perfect movie.
Your early show, when you were wearing the jacket, you were skinny, and you climbed off the stage.
The Pirate's jacket.
To fucking to the New York. I mean, that would be unfair.
That's the opposite. I did it the way you're supposed to do it. I sucked in the beginning and got better. Scorsese was a genius, and then at the end, he made the Pirate's jacket was The Departed.
He Benjamin Buttoned
his fucking career.
Yeah.
Cuz listen, one more time, where can people get the book, the name of it, all that stuff?
Where else could they get except for fucking Amazon? Is there anything that exists besides Amazon?
That's the advice he gave me. Whatever you do, don't get angry. Don't get angry.
Yeah.
Love the audience. Where the fuck else can you get it? Get it at fucking Amazon. Go fuck your mother.
Yeah, Colin Quinn's book, State by State.
Yeah.
Overstated, I meant to say.
Overstated.
It's called
State by
Overstated.
state. I like State by State.
The State of Quinn.
It's overstated, and then
by the way,
the roast of the state. He's roasting
Overstated
all states.
was named by Phil Hanley.
I read that in the book. Yeah.
Oh my God, Phil Hanley.
Yeah, he could use that as a credit now.
Yeah.
Yep.
You say,
Phil Hanley is
Phil
known.
Hanley from Chapter 4.
He's known as the Canadian Nate Bargatze. Little known fact.
Little fact. Good, big old
Get
Phil.
the book. I listened to it. It's about a 4 or 5 hour listen. It's a great book. It's hilarious. You learn a little bit. Colin Quinn, one of the greatest comedians to ever live. It's what it is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been great. Great book. Go get it. And also on HBO Max right now, Colin Quinn's Drive-In Comedy Special. It's on right now. Go get it on HBO Max. It was a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We hope you feel respected that you're on a beanbag.
I love it.
I just called him one of the greatest comedians ever lived. I looked over, he's on a beanbag.
Yeah, we told the genius. We gave him shitty pizza and threw him on a
Fucking
beanbag.
Sicilian. It was all cheese. Even they didn't eat it. Then it wasn't like that. And the proof is in the pudding. There's 4 slices left.
I think it's only
There's
2.
4 guys. Think about that. There's 4 guys here. We got 1 pie. There's still 4 slices
And
left.
I ate 3.
Yeah,
And
so
I
much
hated
cheese
it.
is left.
There's 2 slices.
Yeah,
Not
you
4.
had 3 fucking pizzas. Don't. Is that okay? Can we have to edit that part out? Is your wife going to be okay with that? You had a heart attack last year. You had 3 slices of pizza full of cheese.
Yeah, I think the only pizza we should have ordered for you is a salad. We shouldn't have even got pizza. Yeah.
What can you do?
What can you do?
All right, so
Nobody
that's it,
lives
Colin
forever.
Quinn. Of course, patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys. Find all our stuff. I got a show November 27th, outdoors. Hey, Bert's working with me. Soul Joel's Comedy Club, November 27th, Royersford, Pennsylvania. Go get the tickets, ChristyComedy.com.
Yeah, I'm canceling I got a newborn. I'm canceling my shows. I'm canceling the Connecticut. I'm going to cancel Tampa. I'm just not doing shows.
You're not doing shows.
Corona's
Mine's
over.
outdoors. I'm only doing outdoor shows with heated seats, and that's this one. But indoor shows are canceled for me as well.
Love you guys.
Wait, Colin, do you want to read our Patreon names with us, or you got to go?
Sure.
Here we go. Newest members of the matriarchy. Giannis' first name. The first name is Have We Read These? So, Colin, that's an inside joke because we've multiple times started reading a list, and our producer, Venetia, has stopped us in the middle of 30 people into the list and said, wait, we've read these already.
Yeah.
So it's been like a thing on the podcast. So now somebody named their Patreon name. Have we read these?
He's got to go on the list.
He's
just
on the
'cause
list.
it's funny. Yeah, that's
Fine.
an inside joke.
On the list. And then if somebody doesn't get on the list, but they're close, we call him a Clyde Drexler because we say, listen, Clyde Drexler played in the era of Michael Jordan, and the name was good enough, but unfortunately they had just come right before a fantastic name, and then they don't make the list, but we call him Drexler.
Yeah.
Oh,
Drexler.
Clyde Drexler's nickname was not good. Clyde the Glide.
Yeah.
It's not a good nickname.
No. Okay, so then we got
Bit of a five-star
Santiago.
pajama.
Then we got Santiago Colombiano, Eslo K. Cuz. Welcome. Steve R. Andrazi. Then we got the 25th Bam, Arturo Vargas. Then we got James the Week. Instead of James the Squeak, we got a friend of the show, James Debo. We call him a Squeak, which means little guy. So this guy named himself James the Week.
I'm going to throw him a Drexler.
You got a Drexler. Then we got Chris Kuntler, Matt Price, Javon Sullivan. Oh, nice. Danny Crook, Camille Sobolowski.
Was that nice because he was a black guy?
Yeah, he's a black guy. So as three white men in a room, anytime we get support from the black community, we got to say, yeah, thanks. Camille Sobolowski, Gary Bird.
Wait, Camille what?
Camille Sobolowski.
Was that sounds like the name of the girl Colin dated in Bay Ridge.
No, it's from Greenpoint.
Then we got Spencer Black, Kendall Neverman, Brendan Reza. Then we got Peter Hajek, Arsh Dillon. Then we got Fuzzy Wuzzy Muzzy with the long, thick, chubby 45, Trump 2020. Then we got Chris McCann, Nicholas Garcia, Michael, Adrian Melian, CPT Cuddles, Mac Nepper.
Wait, is that Colored People Time Cuddles?
I guess, yes, Colored People Type Cuddles.
CPT Cuddles. Okay. I mean, I'm going to give him Drexlers. If he's not throwing him on a list, I'm going to Drexler him.
Then we got Franks and Peas or F's and P's. Then we got Dabble Dooya, Brian Patterson, Patrick Macaulay, Gaya. Then we got Watery Dune Hair. Okay. Then we got Joe Fedaro. If you got a Sauce Monkey last name, you know us.
It's just funny, yeah.
Joe Fedaro. Then we got Wyatt Manley. Then we got Ya Salamullah Alaikum.
Yasalam alaikum.
Ya Salamullah
Yasalam
Alaikum.
alaikum. That's a goodie. He
It's a good-
just suffered from a bad read.
bad read. I apologize.
Instead of assalamu alaikum, he's going Yasalam alaikum.
When making these names, folks, keep in mind I am reading them.
Yeah, so that one has to go on the list.
That's on the list.
Yasalam alaikum.
Ya Salamullah Alaikum.
Yasalam
Yas.
alaikum.
Then we got Victor Valenzuela. Colin hates this, by the way.
No, I hate it because I get that it's part of a culture that I don't understand. Yeah. All these little even that's part of you guys'
Right.
thing.
Yeah, it's true.
It's very
So I can't understand that.
It's very esoteric.
I can't judge this contest.
But if one of them makes you laugh independently,
No, it's not going to be funny.
all right, just bear with us. Victor Valenzuela, Thomas, Andre the Giant, FF, Fire in the Dumpster, Fire in the Taco Bell. Then we got list.
I mean, they got to go on the list, yeah.
All right. Then we got Joey. My neighborhood is turning into an Eastern Hemi Fumare party. Zazo. Put him on the list.
He's basically saying there's a lot of Chinese people moving into his neighborhood.
Okay. Then we got Blaze Putney.
On the list, yeah.
Rita Marie, Adam Malicki. Then we got Chrissy. My being gay will only be confirmed like my Nazi heritage with a positive test result to Stefano. Okay.
I mean, that's a funny one. It's got to go on the list.
Then we got, make no mistake, Fuma Thurman couldn't kill Father Bill. He still cracked me open and cleaned me out.
I mean,
In the lead?
Well, no. Yasalam alaikum and that one are in the lead. Yes.
Got it. Then we got Dominic Giannino. Then we got Pseudopene Queen, Chuggin Listerine, Cuz I am an Alky.
Yeah, on the list.
Then we got Steven, Chrissy D, Can Get This Yanni P, It's What It Is, Rebella, a.k.a. Fumbella, Sauce Monkey for Life, Cuz.
Drexler.
Then we got Fuck No Sleepy Joe, Trump 2020, Sebastian Tito's Bolivar, King Gay on Notice, Then we got Donald, got a situation with the mother Russia Trump. Then we got Roy Ramirez, Mr. Glue, Mark Payton. Then we got no grease for my pipe wrench piece when cracking open a fumed out crease.
He called the vagina a fumed out crease.
Yeah, I mean, hold on.
You got to give that a list.
I mean, we can't do all these, cuz. I mean, there's 400 of these. I'm going to do like 20 more because Colin hates this.
I don't hate it, but I don't belong in it.
Colin knows. He knows it's like these are inside jokes.
It's outside
Then
of
we
my...
got Margaret Goldrainer. All right, it's 56. We'll do the 75. Margaret Goldrainer. Then we got Kyle Buddy. Then we got tucking it back and running away with that squeak twink under Tim Dillon's sink.
On the list.
On the list. Then we got Tony, stand back and stand by, Casa Jr., Pedro Torres. Then we got I learned to be a passive-aggressive toot from Nate Bargatze, #Snorefest. That one made Colin laugh.
On the list.
That's the list. Then we got Costa, do you want me to use the Spanish accent this time, Venetia? Because make no mistake, I will agapimu.
Agapimu.
All right, well,
It's a Greek kid.
okay. Then we got Chrissy Drippy from my Tippy to Stefano. Then we got Mean Sean King.
We had him. Sean King jokes are you can't beat the best one, which was what was it? Wei Sean King.
Yeah. Then we got Bojangles, which is a fucking chicken store down south. Then we got Mikey, my ass sweats when I hold my shit in.
Drex.
Then we got Ja Ryan. Then we got Zach Hansen. Then we got Neil Hand, parentheses, Northern Irish kid. Then we got if I let Father Bill touch my thighs, he took me to Five Guys but only ordered me fries.
Colin, you want to just hear that one? I just want to see if objectively.
No, I don't
that's
understand.
He doesn't
Five
care.
Guys, Father Fries, touch my thighs.
Funny. Five Guys, the burger joint.
Yes.
He's saying he got molested by Father. What
I
is
got
Father
that.
Bill.
Yeah.
And he says, but he only took me to Five Guys but only ordered me fries.
So he molested him, took him to Five Guys, but he didn't get him a burger. He
That's
only got him
good.
fries.
That's good.
It's on the list.
Good fucking
But
comedy.
I feel like it's one of those local expressions from wherever they're from.
What do you mean?
Whoever came up with that one, that's some kind of thing that they all say in that area.
Oh, like you only got me fries?
No, I think it's the whole thing is.
Oh, no.
No, Five Guys. Everyone knows Five Guys.
Yes.
Five Guys burgers?
That's what I'm saying. I'm accusing that person of not coming up with them themselves.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, that's a good one. I got to throw that one.
That
on
is
the
a
list.
good
We've
one.
done this.
Yeah.
Then we got just two more. Blake Branch, and then we got Yanni's eyebrows make my peace frown. Ryan, and then we got Jess La Fumalera.
We had that one already. So, and that doesn't mean we repeated it. It means you probably used
Okay,
the
so
same
then we'll
joke.
end on this one. Benny Bagel Monkey, a.k.a. the last fume bender.
On the list, I'm going in Colin's honor. I'm going to go with one that's a little less inside joke, and I'm going to disagree with Colin. I'm going to say that that's a universal joke to say I got molested by Father
I'm not
Bill.
saying it's not universal.
He took me to Five Guys.
I'm
He
saying
only-
the guy, it's a local expression where he's from, and he just took it and used it as the name.
Okay.
I'm saying it's so universal that it's probably like a thing that they didn't come up with themselves, but I could be wrong. I think we should go with it. It's funny enough that we have to go with it either way.
Okay. So
All right,
there
fine.
it is.
And
Go
how
with
about
it.
You won. What
There
was
it is.
Five Guys. You got busted by Father Bill. Went to Five Guys, but the priest only ordered you fries.
Here it is. And then this is just classic us. We had a great episode with Colin Quinn, and then we fucked it up by making him stay with the
Yeah, it
Patreon
just-
names.
we-
now on the whole car ride home, Colin's like, why did I stay
should've-
those extra 20 minutes with those fucking idiots?
This is
Absolutely.
our fucking Departed. This is our Departed. We should have stopped
Guess
after
what?
Goodfellas.
That's not true. I'm not going to think that on the way home because I was thinking it during the read. Now listen. How about my suggestion for thing?
Yeah.
Lavin's painted pantaloon parachute pants.
Yeah, that name would qualify, but you got to go $10 at
Yeah, you
patreon.com/Bay
gotta pay
Rich
for
Boys
that, yeah.
to make that a legal entry.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you,
so much.
Colin.
Thanks,
Get the
guys.
book.
See you
Everything.
later.
Colin Quinn, the legend.